Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here and Michael Sanz. This is the Outsourced PM podcast show. And Michael, we were just talking before regarding podcasts and podcast series and things like that. And what was the stats that you saw on TikTok on a video? What were they?
Yeah, it's interesting that over 90% of people that produce podcasts stop after the third episode, and over 90% of the balance quit after 20 episodes.
Wow.
It's take this podcast, for example, Darren, that puts us in the top 1% of content creators for podcasts globally.
Yeah. And I just love doing good content, and we just fleshed out a good topic for today because at the end of the day, our viewers, our listeners, I just want to get solutions to problems. Otherwise, you wouldn't give your time. There's so many podcasts to choose from. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We really appreciate you. We know what we do works. We love podcasts. It's a great way for you to learn on the go in between appointments or while you're out walking the dog or, going to the gym or whatever. And so what we're going to talk about today with Outsourced PM podcast show is 6 big virtual assistant recruitment mistakes. Now, Michael, you've been in property management, over 10 years. You ran a big rent roll in Melbourne of 650 properties spread over 84 suburbs. You only had 1.5 staff based in the office there. The rest were virtual assistants. But how long have you been working with virtual assistants for?
Property management, close to 20 years.
Yeah.
And, virtual assistants, I started around that 2006.
Great growth results. And I know, and a lot of those growth came through word of mouth with owners that are so happy with the service. So you not only knew how to recruit a team of virtual assistants to do 80% of the tasks, but you did it really, really, really well. Now, everyone, if you want a list of what those 80% of the tasks that a virtual assistant can actually do, it's a lot more than just doing a few lease renewals and organizing your routine inspections for you, or just doing some basic work. Just go to teamsbydesigntasks.com. That's teamsbydesigntasks.com. Now, before we get into this, Michael, I'm going to share with you a conversation I had yesterday. You're not aware of this, all right? Because you took using virtual assistants to the extreme. But I heard another extreme story yesterday, all right, of amazing, magical, gobsmacking, eye-watering results of taking the virtual assistant team to a level that most people would be scared to do. So I had an interview with Jonathan Bell yesterday, and we're getting ready for our conference. It's the IGT conference. And he is signing up 50 to 60 properties a month.
Crazy.
The guy's a machine. And he looks really relaxed. He doesn't look stressed. He is the director of Bell Estate Agents in Brisbane. And I know his average rents. He's not in the lower end. He's in the higher end. He's dealing with a lot of executive stuff. So the guy's just knocking it out of the park. And I said, what's the number one thing? If I put you on stage for 30 seconds at the event, what's the number one thing you said, the greatest thing to your success? He said, all I do is sign up business. I won't do anything else. All I do is speak to clients, prospects. That's all I do. I won't even touch my computer. I won't touch my emails. I'll do nothing only of what gets me in the door and signing management agreements. He said, my virtual assistants do everything. And he is such a raving fan. There's only 2 people that I've met, Michael, that have taken virtual assistants to an amazing level. That's you and him. I haven't met anyone else that does it on a level. Some people dabble with it. They get one person, but they don't do it properly. And I'm just going to invite everybody that, if you are serious about making a change in your rent roll, virtual assistants are going to take you 1 or 2 levels. How many levels you want to go? Get in contact with Michael. And what's the best way to get in contact?
Just go to teamsbydesign.com, contact us and drop us a message. We'll book a time in to have a chat.
Yeah. Make it easy. All right, let's move on. So 6 big VA recruitment mistakes, Michael. The first one you pointed out in this list that we've got is hiring a virtual assistant with the mistake that they can do everything. Tell us about that. Why is that a problem?
Yeah, we've spoken before, about people wanting to hire a unicorn that can kind of cross over everything to do financial, so reconciliation, invoices, create creative content, video editing, and then doing all those attention to detail tasks. But even still, we see people, Darren, and they say, oh, we need help with let's say it's inspections and leasing. But then we find out that they've been given the job task of invoices and, decimals and so on, when it wasn't the primary purpose. And, you're not going to get that type of unicorn when you hire someone physical in an office. And I see people trying to recruit that virtually because they think there's it's infallible. We had, a client abroad. And, we said to them, they said, this is what we need, and this is only what we need. And I said, okay, well, we've recruited someone and, they're skilled up in this. Then we find out that they had to be entering in all these invoices, for a company that was getting a large amount of invoices. And, so bill code may have been wrong, or the amount in there may have been wrong, or the debit credit might have, had a sent off or so on, when they're not wired to be numbers based.
There's no different from employing people in the office. Why would you employ a property manager that's really good at checklists and process and attention to detail, process driven, and then put them into the sales team? You're going to kill them.
No, I know. But, so that's a mistake. I think when you are looking to recruit a virtual assistant, anyone in your office, actually, not just a virtual assistant, write down exactly what you want that person to do. And then, look at those tasks and say, okay, what are the strengths of this task list that you need them to focus on? Because you can't get someone to focus on absolutely all the tasks and get 100% result.
So look, if you need tasks doing in your office and a virtual assistant should be doing something, just write them down, bullet point them, and then send an email to hello@teamsbydesign.com with that list. And then Michael's EA will then get in contact, book you in, have a chat to Michael about the type of person that would be right for that particular position. And just Michael will be able to give you that advice. All right, Michael, let's move on. So that's big mistake number one. All right, is just you're not going to get the unicorn. I think that's a good term for it. We're not going to get that unicorn in the office. Let's not expect that, because we're still dealing with people. And we've got to get the right person on the bus, and then the right person seated at the right seat on the bus and not getting onto the wrong seat. Okay, moving on. The next one is having security measures in place around data protection, privacy protection, all of those sort of things. Michael, why is that important, and why can that be a mistake, getting the wrong person? How can things blow out?
Oh my gosh, we had a phone call with someone in another country. I won't say which country, and they were saying how they had engaged an outsourcing company to handle their trust accounting, and they were doing a Zoom meeting with the person, and the Zoom meeting for that person was them sitting on the curb in a busy street trying to do trust accounting on their smartphone. And I said to the company, to the client we were talking to, was it an accountant that was doing the tasks? And he said, no, they just hired someone to look at doing our trust accounting. And my immediate concern was, you're accessing my confidential database, doing my trust accounting, on a street that's got motorbikes and the cars and the foot traffic. And you're telling me that they're giving me 100% attention doing my tasks, which are important to me. And if we make a mistake on our trust account, obviously, there's a big issue there.
Absolutely. It's an exact process. It's an exact science, isn't it?
Yeah. And I said, look, given the current climate, a lot of people want to work from home. Okay. So yes, there's office-based companies out there that people want to work from home. So that's one thing. But what we do is, we use programs like Time Doctor. We use time tracking and screen tracking, so we can see what the person is doing, where they're at, if they're stuck, if there's inefficient time being taken up. And so we have red flags that we can track and monitor. Also, I said, we're going to have an accountant do your trust accounting. We're not going to have a general person that doesn't understand numbers that needs to sit on a curb in a street that you don't know about. Like, we know where our team members are. It's geotagged. They've got to have professional, clear workspace. So there's minimum standards. And, security wise, LastPass, people don't have access to all the passwords and everything. So there is a chain there, like a line there, a visible line of the secure procedures that we have in place. And he was like, wow, working from home and you have all those security options in place. And I said, yeah, but that should be a minimum. Of course, if they're in an office, we know companies that make the staff take their phone and put their phone into a lockbox during their shift, where it's like a prison guard.
It's a prison camp. Yeah, it's a prison camp. Yeah.
Yeah. So so that was different. I mean, we've all seen cases, Darren, where they've got the cows in the background mooing and the roosters, plucking away there. But sitting on the street doing trust accounting on a smartphone.
No, Michael, we were on the Gold Coast a few days ago, as you know. I was walking the beach and I was answering queries while I was walking on my phone, with conversation in our chat group that we do with our executive assistants. I answered a question. The screen wasn't very bright. I thought I'd stopped enough and typed enough and could see enough and squinting without my glasses on. And oh my goodness, what was your comment? It's like, is English my fourth language?
Yeah.
But I typed it under that scenario. And your point is, a guy sitting on the street doing your trust accounting, oh my goodness, it's an exact science. You need to be in the right environment to do it right, in the right state of mind. And sitting on a street is not it.
No. The mind isn't in it. You need clarity when you're doing tasks like that.
Absolutely. All right, moving on. Big mistake number 3. Wrong skilling. Really employing the person with the wrong skills. There's many different types of people out there. The DISC profile really proves that, doesn't it, Michael?
Yeah, what we see, Darren, where you may have an agency principal who is totally extroverted, and then the department head is introverted, and then some PMs are extroverted, or there's a mixture there. And you're trying to find people that will gel with the team, right? That get on with the team, that have the right skills with the team, and they're adding value to those skills. It's really important that you match those profiles, that you match that personality, because Darren, you have a different personality to myself, to Dennis, and for certain tasks, we all have a different viewpoint on how that task should be done. We make concessions for each other, but you don't make concessions when you've got staff, like when you want things to be done a certain way. And, you recruit someone to do, let's just use accounting, because that's been a thread this morning. You bring someone on to do trust accounting, and they're introverts generally. I haven't really met an extroverted accountant.
Neither have I.
I'm trying to think of one.
No, they just like predictable. They take their lunch break at the same time. They're task focused. They're not people focused. They're really not. A lot of them aren't people.
No, and so you've got to make concessions around that. Realize that, okay, I've got an accountant, they're doing this role. I'm not going to get them, doing footy tipping really with us. I'm not going to get them having a beer with us at the pub. It's not that personality. So making sure that when you recruit, you're recruiting right for the role, that the personality is right for the role too, and that you work out a way how to incorporate that person into the team. Because if you don't, then you're going to have a full breakdown of team.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's move on then. Big mistake number 4, not understanding location or background or what's going on behind the scenes. So, Michael, tell us about a situation why that is a big mistake.
We've had experiences, Darren, where we've recruited, rock stars. On paper, amazing. Interview, nailed it. And then when you're going through training, all of a sudden you hear moo, or, you find out that their town has been wiped out from a cyclone,
Yeah.
right? And when they're doing repairs to their property, and their property is just like corrugated iron tin roof. And, so, they've gone to a really great university that had experience in BPO, like in a professional setting, but they're now working and living from their parents' house. You need to ask the question, where do you live? And then Google map where they live and find out the condition of the area of where they live, because that will have that will play out in some capacity with their relationship with you. We know in certain locations around Asia, there are weather problems, there are internet problems, there are power outages. If you know what the reliability is like, it'll help you plan better with the role. Yes, that person might be amazing, and yes, there might be a place with them with your team. But if you don't realize what their living condition is like, then there will be a time that will become a major issue.
And Michael, I think you had a good point. You talked about living conditions, but what about life conditions or circumstances that could affect their focus? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've got people that are working from home so they can help their family, and their primary focus may not be your job. Their primary focus to work from home might be to look after their mum or their dad or their kids or their siblings. And the job is just treated as a secondary or just as a source of income so that they can be generating something while they're working from home. And so I guess you need to understand when you are doing the recruitment process is, what is that home situation like? Do you have kids? If you have got kids, who's going to be watching the kids while you're working if they're at home? So asking the question, how old are your kids? What care do your parents need or your siblings need that you're helping out at the home? If you know this information up front, it helps pave the way for any future issues. And I guarantee if you don't ask that question, Darren, if you don't understand where they're from or what their motivation is for working from home, who's looking after their people in the house, there is going to be an issue. There will 100% be an issue.
It could also be that they're working day shift with you and working night shift somewhere else, or they've got another big client that they're working for. So we got divided loyalty, but also divided energy as well.
Yeah, correct. I mean, you can't stop someone from really having that second job, but as long as it doesn't affect what they're doing, the work-wise with you, like where is their focus? Is it with you? Are you that second job that's just giving them that income? There was that clip, the Dennis played with Simon Sinek and talking about the barista, and the barista had the same job at two hotels, exact same job at two hotels. And at one hotel, managers and company directors would be walking past every day and they'll be asking him, is there anything we can give you to make your job better? Is there anything you need from us? How can we help you be the best that you can be? And he was really enthused to be at that job, and he did everything he could to go above and beyond. But at the other hotel he worked at as a barista, it was nickel and dime. No one cared about him. No one asked him any questions. And he just put his head down and did the bare minimum just to get through the day so he can collect his check. So, if you've got people, VAs working with you, ask the question, are they working for another job? Where is their focus? Are you that company that are asking them what you can be doing to help them progress and give them better opportunities? Or are you the company that they just come to work and put their head down, do the bare minimum and get paid?
Yeah. All right, let's go on to big mistake number 5, which is applying for other jobs. So they may have said yes to you, but they may actually have other motivations in the background. Tell us about that and why it's a real problem.
Yeah, I mean, liken this to when you're processing an application for a tenant and you've got a property and you want to get rid of it, and the tenant puts in the application and you process it. And these tenants are fantastic. They are great. All the references are glowing. They've got great previous experience and so on. And you ring them and you say, Darren, congratulations. We've just had you approved with the landlord for the property. And they say, oh, okay, when do you need to know by?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You want the property? Yeah, we want it. But there were 2 or 3 others that we really loved, and we're just waiting to see if we hear back from the agency. Okay, when do you think you'll get back? Well, they're processing a few other applications on the property also, and they said they'll get back to me in the next week.
Before you know it, you're second fiddle.
It's like, oh, okay. So it's the same thing with like when you're interviewing people, ask them, if we were to offer you this job, what's your thought process around accepting it? Have you made applications to other jobs? Is this your preference? Is they your preference? Because you might look at, and it's really important to look at their CV. And I noticed this, Darren, where people will be applying for like social media jobs with us, but their CV suggests that they were working, in a restaurant or something that's not really related to the role we're looking for. And it might be that we're looking for a social media person and all they've got is a certificate, but that's not their core strength. They're just looking for a job and they've applied for other jobs that they want to, focus down in. We have to ask, so you've got 10 years experience in this other role and the references are glowing. Why are you looking at applying for this job? I just thought I'd give it a go. Wrong motivation, right? We're not looking for someone to apply for a job with us just to give it a go. We're looking for someone to apply for a job with us because they want that security. They want to be with us in a growing team. They want to have growth opportunities themselves. So make sure you ask them the question, how many jobs have you applied for and where are you at in that process? And if we were to give you this job, would you say yes? Ask the question. You've got to ask the question, especially in this climate too, where I guess in the Philippines, more and more people are not wanting to work in an office because of COVID. They're scared, they're worried, they want to work from home, and they're looking for the best possible conditions.
I guess everyone as well, just go back into our archive of the episodes that we've done in the Outsource PM podcast show. We've actually got 11 checkpoints of the recruitment process that Michael puts people through. Like if he starts off with 100 people and 100 applicants, you end up with 2. And you just got to understand the filters that they put everybody through to knock people out along the way and why. It's really important that when it comes to virtual assistants, your success comes down to the success of the recruitment process. Otherwise, you're going to get your fingers burnt. But just remember, it's not about virtual assistants. It's about things done wrong. Because using virtual assistants, as you know, we said at the start of the program, you can have amazing success. But you've got to be aware of the pitfalls. Otherwise, you're going to get your fingers burnt and you're going to have a nasty taste in your mouth. All right, let's move on to big mistake number 6, Michael, and isolation and loneliness. So this is really, this is really a post-recruitment mistake where they're recruited, they put them in, but it's then just treating them like certainly not a team member.
It's where they start. They bring someone on thinking they're going to fill a hole or they're going to solve a problem, and then they ignore them. And because, out of sight, out of mind, I was talking to someone in America the other week who they said they had initially had bad experiences with their outsourcing because they never heard from the person. And they said they didn't know what they were doing. And I said, okay, so when you had your meetings with them every day and you kind of asked them the question, what are you up to today? And they said, what? What do you mean? Like they've got a checklist and, they do it. And I checked in, I hadn't checked on them in a couple of weeks and they weren't doing what I thought they were meant to be doing. And I said to them, so with your team meetings, you had them every day, right? And he said, yeah, every day, because I need to know what my staff are doing. I see them. And I said, why is that any different from having a virtual assistant, someone who's working from home? You should check in every day. You should see what they're doing for at least a minimum, their mental health. Hey, Darren, how are you going? What do you got on today? Is there anything I can help you out with? These are the things that are really important to us. Better yet, have your assistant sit in on every single team meeting you have. We have clients, Darren, and they've got a computer in the office, I think I mentioned before, where the VA can see everything that's happening in the office. And then we have other team members, smaller teams, where they just have a computer and the camera's on all day, right? And that's how they meet. It's like how we're talking now. And hey, Darren, what have you done with this article? Where are you at with this? And it's just a fluid conversation.
Our executive assistant, we've at IGT and also Teams by Design, all of our people are virtual assistants from the Philippines. And we value them. We look after them. Michael, you've even put on a happiness coach to keep, tell us about the happiness coach.
Yeah, so this is a new role and we're navigating all the possibilities that we can do with that scope. But their role, Darren, is just to love the team. Just to love them, to organise social events. So at the moment, Darren, what he's done, he's mapped out where all the team are across the entire country, and he's put them in like heat maps and location maps, so we can work out, weekend catch-ups and fun events and everything. So his job is just to love the team, and he'll be part of like the onboarding of the new clients, onboarding of the new team members. He'll be making sure that all the birthdays and anniversaries and special days are actioned, and with the cakes and making sure that everything that we want to roll out as a team for our team is done.
Yeah.
He said to me the other day, like, who do I report to? I said, look, report to me, but really your objective is to look after and love the team, all of them.
2 days ago, it was Bev's birthday. Our executive assistant. Now, we love Bev. Bev is just so good. She looks after us. She does a lot of the work for IGT, and really, she's the manager of IGT in a lot of ways. But we knew it was her birthday. Now, we were also on the same day. We were training with a big group in Brisbane, on the Gold Coast, 120 people in the room. Dennis got up the front before we started training. He said, right, and I'm just going to play the video anyway. I think it's good. I've got the volume up. I just want to play it here. But, can you just imagine that we're sitting there on stage, just myself and Dennis, talking at the start, and then we turned the camera around and got the full effect of the crowd singing happy birthday. Let's just do it.
Hey, Bev. So
Happy birthday, Bev.
yeah, just wanted to wish you a massive happy birthday. We've got a couple of people here that want to sing happy birthday to you. And we've got Ben here as well. He's he's going to open the proceedings of singing happy birthday to you. So huge happy birthday. And Ben, what do we say?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bev. Happy birthday to you.
Yep.
Now, that really made her day. We were so busy in the morning, we forgot to say happy birthday. But when we sent that through, she was blown away. But we always do what we can to appreciate her, thank her for choosing us. And she feels loved, she feels wanted, and of course, she's such a valued team member, as is everybody else. And, everyone, they're not robots. They're not a person just to sit in the background. You'll get so much loyalty and longevity, Michael. I mean, how much longevity do we get out of a position with a virtual assistant compared to, say, a staff member in an average real estate office in Australia, New Zealand, UK?
Darren, if you're looking after your team member, I mean, they'll be with you forever.
Forever. Very rarely do you see any staff turnover at all. And it just creates such a stability in your business and a set and forget. It just runs like a Swiss watch, but you got to do it right. So in just finishing up here, Michael, great podcast show today. Some really good discussions, some good stories. I think everyone gets the picture of what they've got to be doing. But again, everyone, just go to teamsbydesigntasks.com, download the 80% of things that you can easily be outsourcing to your team to take it off your current in-office team, unbusy them, get them focused on those dollar value tasks that are going to grow the business, grow the rent roll, strengthen your customer relationships, and just leave the mundane everyday work to people who are happy to do it. Of course, just go to teamsbydesign.com, go to the contact us, or just send an email to hello@teamsbydesign.com and book in a chat with Michael. So, Michael, anything more you want to add?
No, I can't wait to have a chat with everyone. Darren, this podcast, the amount of people that stop me or call me and say, hey, your podcast helped us when we were recruiting and employing a virtual assistant, or we've had one for a while. You've just kind of helped us how we employ our team, how we shape our team. So, it's resonating with a lot of people.
We had someone from the UK, didn't we, a couple of days ago that reached out as well from the podcast. So I think it was a week ago. But anyway, you can see that people are listening to the podcast, they're getting good information. And it's very good. And we just want everyone to have that success with your virtual assistant. So thanks, everyone. And we'll see you in the next show.
Thanks, everyone.